Welcome to the English Channel. What an eventful night I had. So, super stormy when we left Ireland, and it only got worse throughout the night. Boat was rolling so much back and forward that I think I nearly fell out of the bed a few times. It was crazy. Very little sleep was had. I was speaking to a trucker at breakfast who told me that it's as bad as it gets on any time he's been on a ferry. So it kind of calmed down around 4 a.m. and, it was smooth sailing since then. And it's crystal smooth now. It's okay. We're about an hour from the ferry port in Cherbourg. Sooner the better we get there, and I can get going on the trip. Another thing that happened was the pannier satchel on my bike, which is supposed to be waterproof, was not waterproof at all. So when I started to unpack stuff yesterday when I got on the boat, I found that all my clothes were soaked and there was a big puddle of water in the bottom of the bag. Thankfully, the cabin is toasty warm, so I got pretty much everything dried out overnight. The only thing that's not dry is my boots. So, that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but c'est la vie, as they say in France. Hopefully they dry out over the next couple of days. As soon as we dock here, I'll get off the boat. I'll set up my Kalimoto map, which will bring me to our first stop, which is Granville, which is in the north of France. It's only about 2.5 hours from here, depending on how I ride. So hopefully get there soon, get checked into the hotel, maybe get a nap, and go exploring a little bit. I had to pull over there because I just realised that the camera that the mic is connected to wasn't recording because I'm an absolute sausage and I never hit record on it. So I'm just making my way out of Cherbourg here. It's a beautiful day, sunny with a few clouds. It is very windy, but I'll take that. It's better than what I dealt with in Ireland yesterday. Absolutely starving, need to feed myself. So my plan is to try and get out of Cherbourg here and find somewhere in the country maybe to get something to eat. And just as I say that, a few specks of rain are falling. But hopefully that's all it is. I'm going to take today to just take it easy, get my mind back into the mentality of driving on the right hand side of the road. Obviously it's not something I'm used to on a day-to-day basis. I've done a lot of driving in Europe, particularly in Spain, so I am used to driving on the other side of the road, but this is the first time I've done it on a motorbike. It is convenient on a motorbike because, there's no steering wheel on one side or the other. It's just, it can go on either side of the road, but it's just getting your head around remembering to be on the right all the time. Oh no, rain. I don't have my wet gear on. I don't have my my wet legs. Hopefully it's just a shower. It looks like I'm riding into the sun, so we'll be okay. These are some lovely hairpin bends coming up out of the town. Yeah, so the whole ferry experience on the bike was great, apart from the weather. But it is what it is with the weather, do you know what I mean? But the whole experience of booking the ferry, getting the cabin, the food, everything was perfect. It was perfect. Definitely be doing it more and more often on this bike if this trip goes well. I see a sign for McDonald's up here. I know it's sacrilege when you're in a country like France, the capital of food, but it's my first day. I'm absolutely starving. Needs must. So I might pull in there and get something to eat. I need to get some petrol somewhere along the way as well. When I was at the lights there, a French biker passed me on the other side of the road, gave me a big wave, so it's good to see that bikers are sound all over the globe. I see Burger King. That's where I'm going. Okay, that's my belly full, and I got my rain pants on because that shower that I left behind in Cherbourg has caught up with me. Hopefully I'll leave it behind again when I get on the road. I don't know if it's just because I was absolutely starving, but I think that's the best Burger King I've ever had in my life. It's absolutely delicious. We're back on the road, and it's very windy now. Just trying to get out of this city traffic. Hopefully there'll be less traffic when we get actually out into the countryside. These are exactly the country roads I was hoping to be on. Hopefully it's like this for the next few days. I've only ever properly been in France once in my life, and it was when I was about 18. I came on a family holiday. We went to a place called Port de Crousti, which is near Vannes. So I'm going to be staying in Vannes on this trip, and I might take a pop out to Port de Crousti just to see it. I think the only other time I was in France was when I dropped a friend from Spain up to Biarritz to get a flight, but that was literally just drive in, drop them off and go. Actually, I tell a lie, I was in Marseille for a weekend as well. This is the first time I'm going to experience France properly, the proper French countryside. Not a touristy place, just, you know, proper French living and see what it's all about. One place I've never been and I'd like to go at some stage is Paris. It's not planned on this trip, obviously, but I'd like to see it. I don't have a massive desire to go there. I heard it's very expensive and all that sort of stuff, but I'd still like to see stuff like the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and all that sort of stuff. So maybe someday I'll go for a weekend with herself. Even with the wind and that one rain shower we had, it's just great to see a bit of sun. I feel like it's a long time since I've seen a proper bit of sun. You know, we have the odd sunny winter day in Ireland, but it's freezing cold. I haven't seen a proper bit of warming sun in, it feels like, forever. I know it's only April, so it's not going to be 30 degrees, but just a little bit of sun to warm the bones is a bit of vitamin D. It's great for the soul. My only concern with these roads I'm on now is there going to be enough petrol stations? I've got half a tank, but I don't know how much I trust that, because it says I've done 142 kilometers. And normally this tank will do about 200, 220, so it's definitely a little bit less than half a tank. The tank guide on this gives you 4 bars, so it's not super accurate. So between half and a quarter of a tank, it says 2 bars. So you don't know how close to a half yard and how close to a quarter yard. So I always just judge it by the kilometers that I've done. And normally when I get up to around 200 kilometers, I know I need to be filling the bike. Now, I stopped on the way to Rosslare yesterday and I filled the bike and I brimmed it. I put it over kind of the fill line, so I might get a little bit more than the 200, 220 this time. Either way, I'll stop at the first station I see. These little mountain villages are beautiful. Everything's beautiful in the sun, really. I wonder if these places are covered in snow at Christmas. Calimoto is definitely doing the business again with these roads. They're fabulous. At least for country roads here, you can fit 2 cars on them, not like at home. Well, for the most part. I suppose the important thing for each day's journey is that I leave in enough time that I get to my destination in daylight. I don't really want to be on French country roads at night on the bike. But it stays bright a little later in the evenings now, so that should be fine. I knew as soon as I put my rain gear on, the sun would come out. It's always the way, that's my luck. But I'd rather have the rain gear on and it be sunny than not have the rain gear on and it be raining. Some of these French villages must be beautiful places to live. They're so idyllic looking. They all have magnificent churches in them. For such a tiny village, like there's only a few houses here and then this big magnificent church. Look at that fabulous French chateau. Nice, it's like an old mill house or something because there's water there. Getting a little bit concerned about the petrol situation. Not overly concerned yet, but still a little bit concerned. I'll go another little while and then if there's no stations, stop and I'll try and find a waypoint in Calimoto. Might have to divert us a little bit just to get petrol. But thoroughly enjoying this ride through the country towns and villages of northern France. Scenery is beautiful and the roads are spectacular as well. For the most part. Apart from one or two like little, what we would call Boreens country roads at home, but most of them are like this one I'm on now, which are pretty cool. All the traffic so far seems to be going the opposite direction. What little traffic there has been, there's been a handful of cars going the opposite direction. I haven't really met anything going my direction, which is good. This seems to be a bit more of a populated area, so with a bit of luck there's a petrol station around the place. Beautiful little bit town. I'll pull over now in a minute and I'll search for a petrol station just in case it's up the other side of the town that I just turned away from. It's a good feature in the Calimoto. It just has a petrol stations feature, so you can just tap it and it'll tell you where the nearest station is. Oh, 61 kilometers. Okay. Hopefully we can make it. My tank still says I have half a tank. It says I've done 170 kilometers, so I don't really trust that it says I've half a tank. Nearest petrol station. Do you want me to go use the nearest petrol station as your next viewpoint? Yes. Where is this petrol station? Wow. Seems like quite a distance away. It's behind me. It's sending me like a million miles away. So it was sending me all this way like hundreds of kilometers when the petrol station's just behind me. Okay. I'll turn around and go to the petrol station. Looks like I need to go around the town to get to this petrol station. Is it open? Okay, pay by card. I did it again when I stopped for petrol. I changed the batteries in the camera and I forgot to press record on them again. So I left the petrol station waffling away into the mic and sure, there was nothing being recorded. Anyway, yeah, so I filled the tank there. I can relax now because I didn't like having that playing on my mind. Took about €13 to fill the tank, which meant it was well over 3/4 of a tank needed to be filled. So I was right in my instinct when I didn't believe that there was half a tank available. So plenty now to get us to Granville. It's one thing that happened in the petrol station there. I had read online before I came over that most of the country petrol stations, they don't have staff working in them. It's pay at the pump and you need to pay with a chip and pin card. So I tried my AIB card, which is my bank, and it refused the card. It said that payment type refused. So luckily enough I have a Revolut card with me as well as a backup, and it accepted the Revolut card. So that would have been an absolute disaster if I had no way of paying for fuel, because I definitely didn't have enough fuel to get to my destination. So that's just something to bear in mind for anyone else that's considering a similar trip. Bring a Revolut card with you, or bring a card that you're sure is going to work in the chip and pin machines in the petrol stations. These roads are just fabulous, and the weather is spectacular as well. Sunny, a few clouds in the sky, but I'll take that as it's mainly sunny. It's still very windy, but plenty of shelter here amongst the trees. With a bit of luck, as the days go on, there'll be less wind. I did look at the weather for tomorrow's trip, and it looks similar, dry but windy. I don't think the wind is too much of a big deal when you're on roads like this. It's when you go onto main roads and motorways that it becomes an issue. But on country roads like this, it's fine. You've got a bit of shelter and you're not really hammering along at 120 kilometers an hour getting battered by the wind. I hope now that I ignored Kalimoto and turned around and went to the petrol station that it's smart enough to know that I've done that, and it's not trying to send me on the same loop back to the petrol station. That would be hilarious. Some of these farmhouses, they're like something off a postcard. Spectacular. I've passed a good few of these memorials on the road. Obviously this area of northern France has massive significance in World War II. Yeah, so obviously we're in Normandy here, so it's an area of pretty significant history. So I've seen these memorials along the way. This one has British and French flags. Obviously it's a memorial to 2 British soldiers. And then I've seen a few memorials then with US flags. It's mad to think that, you know, all this area, which is all just idyllic houses and villages now, it was literally torn to shreds by the war. All of this would have been just bombed to the ground. So just a little over a half an hour now from Granville, which is our destination today. So far the ride has been spectacular, the scenery has been special. I just had to pull over and sort out Kalimoto there. I was having a bit of a meltdown. It was still trying to direct me to petrol stations. The rally car flying past me there. I seen him coming up behind me. I just stuck on my indicator and let him go past, because I didn't want him driving up my backside. Seems to be some sort of a rally event on here, or a car meet or something. It's pretty cool. So we're making our way down through Granville here, down to the hotel. I'm hoping the hotel has a nice car park. I did book all of the hotels for this trip based on secure parking. So I hope that is true and it does have secure parking. Seems like a sleepy little town so far anyway. It is 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening, I suppose. Hopefully there's somewhere nice to get a bit of dinner later on. So it was supposed to be a 2-hour ride today, but it definitely took an awful lot longer. I'd say 3.5 between you know, stopping in Burger King to get something to eat, and, you know, trying to get out of the ferry port as well. That took a while. And yeah, then tried to find petrol. That caused a bit of a delay as well. And then I think Kalimoto freaked out a little bit because it was still trying to find petrol stations even after I had petrol. But it's a lesson learned. Okay, we're just coming up on the hotel now, apparently. Yep, there it is, that big yellow building with the cheapo looking blue sign on the front. That's the one for me. Where the car park is now is a different story. Also, it looks like it's all covered in scaffolding, which is nice. Let's follow this guy. This guy seems to be going to the same place. Okay, there is a car park. Nice, it's right on the beach. Beautiful. Okay. So that's me checked into the hotel now on the first stop in Granville. Nice to get here eventually. The weather is glorious. Still a couple hours of daylight left, so I'm going to try and go out and enjoy that. Maybe go for a walk on the beach, get something to eat. I'll give you a bit of a look at the room. It's fairly basic, pretty classic French, but it'll do me for the night. This is the room. There's me. This is the room. As I said, it's pretty basic, pretty classic French. This is the view I have outside. It's more or less the view of the street, but if I look this way, there's the beach. So I kind of did get a beach view. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2. Or is it day 3? I don't know. The next day of the European adventure. Thanks again for watching. Oh yeah, like and subscribe.